Hey guys, not so long ago we bought a 40-inch TV and back then it felt really big. But the times are changing and today we're reviewing a TV-sized monitor, PG43UQ from Asus. It is a 43-inch 4K 144Hz monitor with display HDR 1000 certification, making it pretty much an all-inclusive monitor. We will cover what features you get for your money, how it performs, and our opinion after using it for a few weeks. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Jumping straight into it. In the box we'll find a monitor itself, which already has a stand pre-attached. When placed on a standard desk, it does feel a bit too big, and really could do with a wall mounting slightly further away. If you plan to mount it on the wall, it supports a VESA 100x100 mount. Bear in mind that it weighs over 15 kilos, so buy a really sturdy mount. In addition to the standard power, HDMI and DisplayPort cables, you get USB uplink cable and a power brick. It is a very chunky one, and I wish it was built into the screen as I now need to find a place to hide it, but it is bearable. This is a gaming display, so of course it also has RGB. In this case, it is in the shape of ROG logo projector, and actually it feels rather tasteful. On the back, there is a power button, two custom programmable buttons, a little joystick control knob, which makes it easy to navigate the menu. You also receive this little remote to do the same functions. This comes especially handy when swapping between different devices while sitting back. Inputs themselves are behind a cable management flap. Here we have two HDMI 2.0 and two display 1.4 ports. It's a shame there is no HDMI 2.1, but this monitor supports DSC to help with the shortcomings of display 1.4. More on that later on. Also, there is a PC audio input and headphone output, and two USB 3.0 ports, so you can keep your wireless dongles connected directly to it. This is a 10-bit VA panel with 125% sRGB and 90% DCI-P3 coverage. It actually comes factory calibrated with Delta E below 2 in sRGB mode, and it has a matte finish, which is a very nice addition, especially to people relying on color accuracy. Do note, to achieve this accuracy, sRGB mode limits the brightness. Talking about brightness, this monitor has 1000 nits peak brightness and is display HDR 1000 certified. So if you have it on full brightness and the white page comes up, it feels like you're blinded by the sun. On the other hand, it does not support full array local dimming, which means it cannot get completely dark. This can be an issue for an absolute HDR fan, but in my opinion, it is already good enough to have HDR on at all times. Also, games just look so much better. Check out this example of Shadow of a Tomb Raider in 4K. We have it in a standard mode, then three different HDR modes: cinema, gaming, and console. All three of these modes tweak picture preferences. Gaming mode seems to make things a little bit more contrasty, and cinema mode brightens up the shadows. Ultimately, it is a matter of preference, so there is something for everyone here. The standout feature is 4K at 144Hz refresh rate, which is G-Sync compatible. It is certainly nice, but also at this price point, very much expected. It achieves this by utilizing DSC, or display stream compression, which allows you to play games or just use it in a desktop mode with both HDR and high refresh rate over DisplayPort 1.4 without losing any color information. It does require a compatible graphics card. Most of the newer ones are, but make sure to check if yours supports it. The high refresh rate HDR 4K display is awesome for that, and the specification boasts 1 millisecond moving picture response time. But if you look closely, this is achieved with ELBM enabled, which is extreme low motion blur option. By default, it is turned off, and in most scenarios, this monitor delivers great results. But when it comes down to very contrasty areas in fast-paced games, you can see ghosting. This is very much expected from VA panel, and to be fair to Asus, it is not the worst I've ever seen. However, at this price range, I would expect it to be pretty darn near perfect, and it is not. Let's have a look at some tests. First, the non-scientific test. We run the display in 4 different overdrive options in CSGO benchmark, which is probably the worst case scenario as far as a fast-moving footage goes. It is clear that with overdrive set to 0, the result is incredibly blurry, and when overdrive is set to 5, it is much sharper, but also overshoots while creating a massive amount of coronas, which in turn skew the colors and become very distracting. To improve on this and get down to the 1 millisecond response time, we need to enable the ELBM. Unfortunately, this requires you to turn off adaptive sync, which in many ways negates the point of getting this monitor in the first place. To really test the motion blur, we've set up a pursuit camera to simulate eye tracking. For this test, we ran display at 120Hz for easier synchronization with the camera. First, we've set the default overdrive setting, and here we can see the alien is definitely blurry, but if you look in the bright or dark area, it is also creating a lot of smearing. When enabling ELMB mode, we see a much sharper image, but unfortunately there is a lot of strobe crosstalk and it is very distracting when in game. With all of this in mind, if you buy this monitor, then for general use and gaming, turn on adaptive sync, set overdrive mode to 4, and then choose the preferred HDR mode. In slower paced titles, it does rather well. This brings me to the things I really like about this gentle giant. When you enable sRGB mode on this 43-inch 4K panel, it becomes incredibly color accurate, and it is amazing for photo and video editing. Bear in mind, when sitting right next to it, you constantly need to look up. This is not an issue when editing, as the top section only has setting bars and it's not really constantly in use. When I'm not gaming, I tend to leave the top section of the screen for auxiliary programs like Spotify or something that I don't constantly use. I also really like the software it comes with. You can do most of the settings straight out of the desktop, and the ability to set up the picture-in-picture and picture-by-picture mode is great for those planning to use this display for both work and play. For those who are planning to use this to watch movies, the HDR mode truly makes it great. Also, the built-in dual 10-watt speakers are not bad.
Hey, I got a confession. Been losing no momentum. Just because it's easy, that don't make it better. I wanna dig my hands deep down in the dirt. Take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this convenience just doesn't work for me.
So, the bottom line. Should you go out and buy this monitor right now? Well, it depends. Given the price, this may not be for everyone, but if you're a professional who needs color accurate monitor and also likes to play adventure games, this monitor is awesome for that. You will have great visuals. When paired with active sync, all the content looks simply stunning. On the other hand, if you're a competitive gamer, then probably skip it. To be fair, 4K 43 inches is not something that competitive gamers really need. I really hope Asus will change the panel type on the future models of this monitor to get rid of that ghosting issue. I hope this was useful. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.